Alright, new toys here, out of the way. Now, ever since I heard the rumors about them making a wide Galaxy Fold, I've been hyped to death about this thing. Because it really is just the perfect form factor for a foldable. It's got the form factor of a nice 5.5 inch like small phone outside, and inside it's pretty much like a tablet. This is gonna be so cool. We also got a note here from okay, yeah, that can't be a real person, come on. I'm not really able to show you the other slips on camera because it's like my receipt and my trade-in slip for my Fold 7. With the trade-in and the student discount, I only paid like $500 for this thing. You know, plus like the $15 a month for the insurance, which I'm gonna need. Alright, we got, what, paper? SIM tool. I'm gonna lose that in 3 seconds. You got a USB-C. We got a quick start guide and a ad for Samsung Care, because they know what they're doing. You know, if the inner screen fails on these things and you try to return it, like, under warranty, most of the time they're just gonna fuck you. Anyways, here's the Fold itself. Oh, dude, I'm really liking this form factor. My sort of requirement for a wide foldable is it's gotta be hard to make your thumbs touch. Let's take off that screen protector. Twice. Wait a sec, imagine I turn this thing on and it's busted out of the box. Uh-oh, it's not turning on. 66%, okay, so why is it not turning on? Is this not the power button, or? Oh, okay, there you go. Easy setup with another device. Okay, so let me plug my Fold 7 into this. We're working through the transfer process, but now it's asking connect to a mobile network, which I guess I gotta fish the SIM out of my 10 Pro. I'm gonna level with you for a sec. Sometimes I take a look at how many stupid phones I got and I think it'd be cheaper to be an alcoholic. Aw, damn it, man. After putting it in, now it's bugging me to restart mid-setup. Sure, why not? Oh, okay, it just put me right back where I was. I thought I was gonna have to redo setup all over again. It's the strangest thing. Now we're gonna scan another QR code to transfer data. I guess this is like Smart Switch instead of the Google protocol. Okay, so for my 52 gigs of files, it's gonna take 34 minutes. Really? Okay, I mean, I guess it's faster than doing it manually. Alright, now we gotta do Secure Folder, which is, not working. Alright, cool, thanks Smart Switch. I guess I'll do that myself. It seems like it's still cooking in the background, but now I get the option to add my fingerprint, which also doesn't work. Great. This has gotta be a software bug, right? Because my middle finger works fine on my ZFold 7. It's also pretty unfortunate that doesn't work, because how else am I gonna hold this thing? Alright, I guess I can, like, stretch my index over here. That works, right? No? Okay, my entire left hand is null. Okay, out of the gate, that's pretty disappointing, but I guess I'll just add this thumb instead. Oh, no, it's my favorite part of this setup.
Galaxy AI!
Wait, weather wallpaper? Is there actually a weather wallpaper on One UI 9? You know, I might be misreading that, but if there's something like this on One UI, I'm sold. That's actually pretty cool. Bixby, okay, yep, I'm back to not caring. Samsung okay, yep, just steal all my data. As soon as Google started paying me, I stopped caring. And who can forget the don't be a dipshit notice here. But one thing that's pretty interesting of note here is this phone isn't dust resistant, which I find pretty annoying considering the Pixel Fold 10 actually is with its sealed hinge, but you know, that's got tensor in it, so we're just gonna forget about that. You're all set up. See what's new. What's new in One UI 9? Useful tips. Galaxy, okay, you know, I'm sorry I asked. Oh yeah, hold on one sec, guys. Let me get the foldable cuck fee out of the way. And as soon as I got done paying that, I took this device to brace yourselves outside. And the results were actually really good. You're probably gonna hear this next sentence a lot throughout the review, so stick with me, but the aspect ratio is just killer here. And it matters for every single way you use the phone. For instance, in the cover screen mode, the design here really nails like that small phone niche. Here it is actually next to an iPhone SE3, one of the smallest iPhones made. But you're also probably noticing the thing's a bit wider than the SE3. That's also got some pros and cons. For the pros, it's way easier to touch type on this thing, especially if you got like a weird claw grip where you use your index finger on the right. I can't be the only one, right? But the cons of the wider screen are pretty apparent, especially if you try to reach across the thing. However, I guess you're gonna have the same exact kind of issue if you switch to the Ultra instead, and honestly, reaching over to the side instead of like stretching all the way up here is way easier on the Fold 8 wide. Even with the pretty cool new cover screen on this thing, I'm really disappointed they didn't add MagSafe to the back of this so I could like attach a pop socket, especially because of the hinge here. Oh yeah, that's another point I wanted to complain about. The hinges on the Z Fold, like on the left side of the phone, if you have it in your palm, it hurts, man. I mean, it's not gonna break skin or anything, but it's just kind of uncomfortable to hold like this. The entire day out, if I was using this thing one-handed, it was in my right hand. And this issue gets even more annoying when you consider they fixed it with the first Galaxy Fold. Whoa, look at that, a surface you could actually wrap your hands around. Now let's move on to the inner screen, which I also do have some complaints about as well. For one, the kind of setup I got for my home screen on the cover display is shoved to the top here, which doesn't really make much sense for ergonomics. And yeah, I guess I could turn off like cover screen mirroring and get my own setup, but then I'd have to update the cover screen and this at the same time, which I'm not doing that. I guess that's just the software though. Some of the hardware like the crease, It's really hard to see it here. So yeah, good job, Samsung. You fixed the crease, but we kind of got another issue here. This pimple camera that won't go away. Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. It's pretty disappointing having to stare at this stupid thing the entire time I'm looking at content in portrait mode unfolded. You know, actually, back on the Fold 6, Samsung did do an under-display camera, which I guess they got sued for because it's not present anymore. Now, keep in mind, yes, this was also present on the Z Fold 7. I didn't complain about it much on that, but the thing's also a square, so it really just stands out less. That actually segues to my next point pretty well. The square compared to the rectangle, it's no challenge. You know, it's really hard to show this on camera without getting it into your hands yourself, but they do look pretty similar on the Apple webpage, right? But consuming portrait content, it's just so comfortable on this thing, it's insane. It being more narrow and tall really gives it like that big phone feel compared to this gimped square. Oh, and yeah, hey, side note, take a look at the reflections between the two. Another huge difference. It's one thing when it comes to the web, but it makes a world of difference when you're using like native Android apps that don't really have great support for these kind of things. I'm just able to fit so much more on this compared to the Fold 7. But what really surprised me is just how much better the landscape is compared to the Z Fold 7. I know that's kind of the entire point of this thing, but I really did think this was gonna like stand a challenge with it being taller. But the video watching experience is in every way better on the Z Fold 8 wide. Comments are easier to read, the video fills out more of the screen, at least when you're looking at it through the UI itself. But actually making it full screen with a letterboxing, there's a difference, sure, but it's not that big of a deal. I want to address one more element of praise. The silicon carbon battery in this thing, a pretty cool improvement, but in my actual day-to-day testing, it's kind of just the same thing as the Fold 7's battery life. Also, to tell you the truth, it kind of scares me that Samsung, the company behind the Note 7, is using a new battery technology. Yeah, I'm not sleeping next to this thing while it charges. Also, you notice anything missing here? Yeah, the telephoto camera. This phone's $1,800, and the people at Samsung couldn't figure out how to put one more nipple on the damn thing. What's funny, though, is that, for my personal use, I could care less that it's gone, mainly because even on like the phone I'm recording on, the iPhone 17 Pro, I still use digital zoom. Maybe I'm just stupid. But even with that being my use case, it still doesn't excuse Samsung just being cheap there. Oh, and also, they did a thing on the Fold 8 where it's like easier to open the hinge where it like kicks itself out, which is pretty cool, I guess. But if you try to fold the thing into a laptop to try to bring up like the flex window with like a mouse control and stuff like that, it just doesn't work here. Which I find really ridiculous because this is like the one phone where that would be a great feature. It's decent on this phone, right? But it's too like narrow to be really comfortable to get some work done on, but this, it would be perfect. You know, especially for those websites that only accept like mouse input when you're like on the go trying to get some work done. It really would have been nice to add that feature. Again, Samsung, please stop being cheap. Or maybe I should have said being lazy instead of cheap, because the hinge mechanism does feel really good here, but I could still set the phone like this, okay? Just give me the option back. But even with all those compromises, I'm sorry, but I still love this phone. I'm telling you, man, the form factor really is everything. Instead of just feeling like a square in a normal phone, it feels like it's, I don't know, specialized for the task you fold it into. You got the basic one-handed like messaging view here. You got this one for browsing the web, or really just using a big phone. And then you got the landscape view, which is really suited to content, games, or multitasking, which I almost forgot to show you. I don't even have to explain this one. Take a look at the Z Fold 7, take a look at it compared to the 8. Which one's obviously more comfortable? Surface Duo fans know what I'm talking about. That's pretty much everything I wanted to cover though, so thanks for watching my unboxing, first impressions, and mini review of the Galaxy Z Fold 8. Let me know down in the comments, are you going to be picking this phone up yourself? And if you're not able to, do you like it? Alright, I'll see you later.